Hello everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to someone very special and very instrumental to AOScan Mobile, Amber Moseley. Amber Moseley, thanks for being here with me this morning. We want to talk a little bit, before I turn some time over to Amber, I want to explain a little bit of the context here. Amber Moseley's really the main driving force behind how AOScan became into this market, the mobile device in a direct sell environment. She's the one, she came to our office, she was coming to our factory for some other reasons. So nonchalantly, just before she was to leave, I says, Amber, why don't you sit down, let me show you this new scanner that we're working on, this mobile device. And I scanned her, and needless to say, everything changed from that moment on.
Absolutely.
She got on her phone and she called American Airlines and canceled her flight home and scheduled it for another day. And she sat down with me and she says, Lauran, this needs to be in the direct marketing space, because it takes someone to do what you just did with me, to share this scanner one-on-one. And I looked at you and I says, Amber, I'm not going there. We're not going to take this into that space. And she sat and she says, Lauran, we have to go to that space. And she got on her phone and she started calling a few people in her phone book and says, I've just seen X.
Yeah.
And you've got to see this.
Yes.
And at the end of those conversations, every single one of them were ready to help this go to where it's at today. So that's how Amber and I got to know each other, was in that moment. And in, 6 weeks' time, we launched AOScan Mobile, which became Solex about 6 months later.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So what you are experiencing right now as a QLA is because of Amber's drive and determination to take this to the world. And because of that, almost 10,000 people as of today have a mobile scanning device in their hands. So thank you.
Well, no, thank you for showing the scanner to me, because my whole visit was 180 degrees opposite of that, Lauran. And I remember when you showed it to me, I immediately called my sister, who's my business partner, and I said, remember at A4M, the one thing that blew us away the most was the AO scanner. And you don't remember us.
I don't.
I know, we cried the whole time.
Yeah.
But we were in awe because we had just purchased another galvanic testing machine and spent thousands of dollars on it. And when we saw that, we were just like, oh my gosh, how do we get a refund? But we continued on to use that machine, and it really gave us a baseline of to kind of understand what was happening when I did visit you that day. So, but I do remember after I postponed my trip, our ride to the airport, and you said, out of your trip here, what are you the most excited about? Do you remember that?
No.
Okay. And I said, helping you put the AOScan Mobile into everyone's hands.
That's right.
And because, Lauran, I saw what we were able to do and what you were able to do, it was just incredible. And I remember I got scanned, and I remember I got my inner voice, and this was the aha moment for me, because I was dealing with some things that I was holding in, and I didn't feel like I had the right to express myself. Do you remember me calling you when I got home? And I listened to the music 3 days and got home, and I just had an aha moment, and I didn't even think about it. It just happened. And then I think that's when I called you and said, okay, let's do this. Yeah. So that was exciting. Thank you so much. But it really wasn't all me. It was a lot of the people. And,
she says it wasn't all her, but the truth is she was the motivating force. But what we want to really talk about right now today is not just how she helped us and helped us mold the company to where it's going today, but see, Amber and her sister, they own a clinic in Weatherford, Texas. And they've been using, the reason that they had bought this other device was to help them scan their people in their clinic to provide better service. So Amber, I think what I'd like for you to talk about right now is how you're utilizing the AO scan in your clinic and how that is helping you make your clinic more effective for your patients.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. I will say it was a little bit of a journey because I can remember those first 6 weeks. That was cowboy up, remember? And as you kept giving us more and more, we were having to change the way that we would acclimate the AO into our facility. So finally, a few months back, when you launched Easy Scan, that really changed it for my sister and I. So what we do is that when the clients come in for a consultation, we have them fill out the paperwork at the same time that we're scanning them with the bone transducers, and then the lady that helps us, she'll automatically upload the office email, send it to us, and then Regine is in the back, and she's getting the reports, which makes it so easy with the Easy Scan. And so she's looking at that. So then after they fill out the paperwork, they'll come in and see Regine, and I have already gone through the Easy Scan, and so she makes some notes, and then she'll sit down and she'll listen to, what they're there for. But one thing she does go over is the inner voice, and based upon, our feedback and your feedback is that last report. She'll go over the inner voice report, and then what's really cool is that we have loaded up. At some time, we can scan them another time when they decide what packages they want and what she feels is the best inside the Quantum Wellness Center that works for them. But we also give them their inner voice to leave with.
Good.
And so that's really worked really good for us. And I just think it helps us transition the knowledge of the Easy Scan over to our clients.
Right.
Because they always come back and say, can you scan me again?
Yes.
And it's just remarkable. And then what we do is when they come back in for, the packages or whatever that we're going to do with them, we'll scan them, and then we let them listen to that inner voice while they're doing their packages if they so choose. We encourage them to.
And
So-
the thing is the inner voice is really how we can find out where the emotions are
Yes.
of our clients. If we deal with those emotions, if we can learn to spot the emotions and do that really well through the inner voice, we can kind of guide the clients through the right protocol, the right types of therapies and things that you're going to do. You might change some of their diets. You might want to sit down and talk to them about changing some of their lifestyle.
Right.
And help them.
Absolutely. And I do want to say that we use it as an educational piece. So it's like, if your body could talk, what would it say before you ever sat down in that chair? And it just really opens up a great educational piece. And then it's a great segue, Lauren. We've had a lot of clients that say, I want to know more about my body. And so then we'll schedule them to come in and do a scan. And that's the full vitals, the inner voice, the comprehensive. And then we'll schedule another time if they want to learn more. But we don't give them the Easy Scan report at that first visit, because that's our educational piece.
And I think
So-
it's also be a little overwhelming
Yes,
in the
it would be.
beginning. So it's
Yeah.
just to ease in. So what I'm hearing here is that you use it to educate yourself primarily the
Absolutely.
first time on how to form their treatment plan or their therapy program. Then you introduce it to them
Yes.
as something that they can use on a daily basis.
Absolutely, yeah. Usually when they come in, maybe a couple of sessions of, whether they're doing the theta or whether they're doing the other programs that we have that you have so graciously invented for us. So, yes, it's never on the first visit. It's really too overwhelming. But I will say that every single person that has either done a scan or has purchased an AO, it's kind of like a segue into educating themselves, and they all love it. They all love it. I've actually had grown men come in and scan and do the inner voice and them sit while they're doing hydrogen, and they read that
report.
that report and actually tear up.
Yeah.
And then they actually share with us kind of what they're going through, maybe with a family member that's affecting them emotionally. So then that kind of segues into, hey, I really want to learn more about the AO scan. So that's how we use it. Now, I will say there's a lot of different ways that other practitioners can use it, but we scan them before Regine or I ever meet with them, and it's just kind of like, educating us about if their body could talk, what would it say?
Well, I think that's brilliant. The thing is we all are very protective of our emotions. We don't want to share those emotions. It's the hardest thing for us when someone comes up to you and says, "How are you doing?" Our immediate and automatic response is, "Fine." And here at our clinic here, when someone says that to us, we give them a little tap on the cheek, say, "Now, how do you really feel?"
Yeah.
Because we need to know what those emotions are. And knowing that with working with clients is critical. I think this is wonderful what you're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And along with your guidance,
Okay.
of course, I'm always calling Lauran, hey, Lauran, you got a minute? And I do want to say that it's such an eye-opening for all of the devices, and not a single person has the same, the program that Regine lays out for them. Everybody is different. Yep. So we never want to categorize anybody that they all have to do the same things. So, and I think that's really important too, that let them be who they are and let us help them become who they are and educate them as well. Because what's really cool is as they come back and maybe we scan them again, we ask them to identify, where's your gallbladder? Show us where your gallbladder is. Show us where these other organs, and 80% of them, they can't.
That's right.
And when they have that AO scan, they are so excited that they actually know what's happening in their body. And so they'll come back and they're really excited and they show us the reports. But then we also work with them as in, we really want you to focus on these body systems, in the morning do, an AM scan. So we help navigate them along the way. So, and I think that's important too.
And the whole thing I'm hearing here is exactly what we would like everybody to do, is educate and teach people how to educate themselves. This is the key. There's no selling here.
No.
This is just education. And if it resonates with those people, then they'll want to know more and to go to the next level.
Absolutely. And I do have to say, Lauran, that, and I get this a lot when I get calls from maybe physicians or wellness centers that have purchased the AO scan and they don't really know how to incorporate it. But I will say that I remember you telling me, and Regine, use it for yourself.
Right.
Because if you don't, how are you supposed to help others?
So be a product of the product yourself first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. And, we have clinics that purchase it or other people's, and I'm going to encourage any, wellness clinic owners, physicians, anybody that want to learn more, get the scanner and use it for yourself. It's so important.
It is.
And you taught us that, and so we use the scanner daily on ourselves. And that really helped us segue and start putting the pieces together. And that was before Easy Scan. That's
true.
when you came out for Easy Scan, it made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I will say, we're at 95% accurate, because as they come along and they transition maybe to a different protocol, we'll actually sit down with them and we have that initial scan and they are blown away.
The difference between when I started and where I'm at. Yes.
And actually when we show them that first scan, they're like, how did you know? And we're like, we didn't. Your body told us.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's really been fundamental for us to incorporate that. And thank you for that, because we got our dream. Got our dream because we saw that big bad boy AO scan at the A4M. And since you don't remember us, I know.
So I think the takeaway here is you have this device. Most important thing is to learn how to use it on yourself and use it on yourself. And those of you who have a business, a health clinic or any type of a health service that you're providing to the public, incorporated into how you're working with your clients, so that you can educate not only them but yourself onto how you can help them get further down that road on their journey for better health.
Absolutely. And I wanted to add something else. As a wellness center, a practitioner, I encourage that you really take the time to train somebody within the clinic that can answer the questions, like if I wasn't available or you wasn't available. And we have a very wonderful lady that works for us named Tawny Lathrop, and she knows the scanner in and out, and she really gets a good feel for the people, and she's really been instrumental in helping us incorporate this into the Quantum Wellness Center. And I would just encourage, as a practitioner, educate somebody within your clinic that can help you, and that kind of takes the reins whenever you're not there, and
that's
can
important.
help. Yeah, I really think that's very important. So,
well, Amber, thank you so much for sharing this with us, and I hope this was helpful. So see you.